I will make sure that I mark Mandan as, maybe your nickname should be Jean-Claude. I don't know if you get the reference. Patel, I should give you a nickname of Jean-Claude. Jean-Claude Van Damme. This is Van Damme, but hey, say it again. All right. Under Home tab, there is this thing called conditional formatting. I'm going to do a new rule. Okay. This rule is going to say use a formula to determine which cells to format. I'm going to write a formula that is a logical statement. If it turns true, the format that I'm going to designate is going to be applied to that cell. Otherwise, it won't do anything. I mean, you could have multiple conditions, but in this case, I only need one. And that formula is if this year, and since I'm going to copy these, I'll make sure that that is a relative reference. If the year is less than or equal to life of the project, so for the first 5 years, that condition is going to evaluate to true, right? So if that happens, what formats do I want to use? Well, first, I'm going to make the font color essentially ivory. I'll make that bold. I'm going to make the numbers a currency. And I don't want to turn red if it is negative. And how about the fill? Well, I'm going to make that into dark green, not the Welsh green. I could, but it's okay. Okay, and that took care of that cell. But now I want to apply this to all of the cells. The way you do it, you copy a cell and let's go all the way down. Right click. I want to paste only the formats, which is this little button here with the brush. As you can see, only the first 5 are given green background. If I change this number to 3, only the first 3, my project requires 10 of them. It's rather useful. It tells you put the inputs in there. All right, next we're going to calculate present value. I'm going to call that pres value. It's my sheet. I can call it anything I want, right? If you want a different title, do your own sheet. And I'm going to make these. Actually, let me change the color a little bit. Maybe purple. No. I'm going to take a precaution. I'm going to say if this year is greater than the life of the project, even if there is a number there, make it 0. It just could be that from a previous use, you have a number as cash flow from year 11. Ideally, you should clear that out, but if you haven't, I want to take a precaution against that. So if that is true, make that 0. Otherwise, take that cash flow, divide it by 1 plus the cost of capital, make sure it is fixed, raised to the power number of years, close the parenthesis, and I want to make sure that that's also fixed. Obviously, I want this thing to be dollar formatted. I could also do a color formatting for that, but I'm not going to. So let's make things simple. As I enter my inputs, those present values are automatically calculated. Once you have the present values, calculating NPV is simple enough. Simply add them up. There's also a direct way of doing it, but since I'm going to need those present values for certain other calculations later. Since I calculated them, I might as well use them. There's a function in Excel called NPV. It actually calculates present value of future cash flows, not the NPV we want. Doesn't mean we can't use it to make the calculations, but we already have them, so I might as well use them. So let's put in NPV here. I'm going to make this thing, let me see, red, center it. I don't have to, but I want to. It's just sum of all of these. And I'll make that, let's see, turquoise. Yeah. No, I want the color to be turquoise. Maybe a bit bigger. So in this case, it just happens to be 24,000. You know, maybe this project lives a little bit longer, costs a little bit higher. Something like that. Okay. So whatever the inputs are. Even if I had a number from a previous use here, it's completely ignored. Now I want to create an indicator or a message to the user of this, because sometimes you develop templates. I view Excel templates as means of communication. You can send a message to somebody who's not that much of an expert. Basically, if I think based on my algorithm that a project should be accepted, I should give it a clear signal. How about something like a green light? Okay. And if I want it to be rejected, something like a red light or something like that. But if I want to be cautious, something like a yellow light. But I also want to distinguish between cautious good and cautious bad. So I'm going to apply a format to this cell. Under Home tab, I'm going to say conditional formatting, new rule. I'm going to use an icon set. Turns out there's actually something that I need exactly. I have a down red arrow to indicate rejection, up green arrow to indicate go ahead. And I have two yellow arrows, but one of them is 45 up, one of them is 45 down. So 45 up means it is sounds acceptable, but think about it a little bit more. The other one is careful, but don't immediately reject it. And I'm going to determine what those are going to be based on formulas. Okay, if it is greater than cost of project times the significance, I want green arrow. Failing that, if it is greater than 0, I want a up yellow arrow or yellow rising arrow. Other than that, if it's greater than or equal to negative of the cost of capital times that, I want a falling yellow arrow. Failing all those three conditions, it's gonna return a red one.